we go.
Alright, Liz, nice to meet you, Liam.
Bruce, I know who you are, my friend. How are you?
Good to see you. Very good. Yeah, he's really good.
Ray, lovely to meet you.
Matt, nice to see you.
Tom, nice to meet you. I'm going to do everyone.
Great start.
That's it. That's my rip. My rip.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. We're delighted to introduce our new head coach, Liam Rousinior. We will do two sections today, beginning with a broadcast section and then a section written which is embargoed to 10:30 this evening. We will begin in the usual way with Gail Davis in Sky Sports News. Away you go, Gail.
Afternoon. When you spoke on Sky a couple of days ago, you said I don't want to just be the Chelsea manager, I want to be the winning Chelsea manager. So what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for you over the next few months?
I think the biggest challenge in any club, in any team, is making sure you create the right culture, you create the right spirit, you have the right values. The reality at this football club, the talent levels that I've seen in the last 2 days of training, the ability of the players is world class. I've got a fantastic group to work with, which I'm very excited about. But winning teams are consistent when they have a good spirit, when they have a good energy, when they fight for each other, when they put pride in the shirt. And I think that's my job now. I think the previous coach, Enzo's done a fantastic job with these players tactically. They're a very good team already. Now it's my job to try and take it to the next level, and me and my staff are going to work really hard with that.
Clearly this job works within a structure that's quite different maybe from other clubs. How helpful is it for you to have had that understanding of it, to know where those boundaries are, to know where you can push and where you can't push?
I think
when you have to say yes and when you have to say no, I guess.
I think that's the same at every football club. Every football club's unique in the way that it works. I have to say, my time at Strasbourg is the best 18 months of my professional career, of my life. The experiences that I had, what I learned, the people I met, and the people I work with here. I can say the guys I've worked with here, in terms of the overall project, have been nothing but supportive to me. Have given me confidence, have allowed me to make mistakes, have allowed me to learn. There's always going to be speculation about how these things work. I've enjoyed every moment, and I intend to fully enjoy this next step in my career with them, and hopefully bring everyone at the club success.
Clearly there's been quite a high turnover of coaches in this club. I wondered before you said yes, which I'm sure was almost immediate, if you picked up the phone and you got some advice.
Take advice.
In particular, who you went to.
I think the turnover of managers now, regardless of club, is huge. The pressure is there from day one. I'm aware of that. If I wasn't willing to take on that pressure or that privilege, I think the bigger club you're at, the higher the pressure, but the higher the privilege. I have to take that into account. So for me, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I can't wait for tomorrow night. I couldn't wait to get here when we agreed the deal and meet the players and meet the staff who have been nothing but supportive, made me feel at home. It comes with the territory. If you're scared or if you're fearful, then there's no point being a coach. I've worked so hard pretty much my whole life for this opportunity. So now I'm just going to enjoy it, which is important. I'm going to work 24 hours a day. I'm intense when I'm with the players, and I'm going to push them as hard as I possibly can to be successful.
And just finally for me then, what did you learn from watching from the stands, apart from the fact that you might need to just curb some of those red cards and maybe the yellow ones that followed?
Yeah, I think what I learned the most, I thought Callum, who now I'm delighted has joined our coaching staff, he's done an incredible job in terms of the performance. Obviously, it's very disappointing to lose any game. What I loved is the fact 70 minutes the lads play with 10 men, played with real energy, played with passion, created chances. At times it looked like we still had 11 men on the pitch. They were really, really positive signs for me. Obviously the result is not what we want, but there's a lot of really, really good building blocks that Callum's put in. After the lads, rightfully so, were disappointed to lose their previous coach, which I would expect every group of decent people would be upset when their coach leaves the football club.
Thanks, Gail. John?
Is discipline one of the problems you have to address quite early on? Because obviously with 7 red cards this season, and maybe more so the 3 yellow cards that were picked up, straight after the red card. Is that something you need to speak to players about?
It's one of the few things that, for sure we can improve on. I know how we do that. I've spoken to the players in a different way about managing setbacks, because in life you get setbacks, not just in football. What we have, they show passion, they show emotion for the shirt, which is a really positive thing. It's making sure that in key moments we react positively to a setback, we stay calm. But I think those mistakes, if you want to call it, come from passion. The lads want to win. So I don't want to take that out of them at the same time. So there's a fine balance between going overboard. To win, you can't be nice all the time. You have to have an edge, and I don't want to take that away from the lads.
You've spoken about how good this group is, and you've walked into a great situation. But how surprised are you that this group of players has won one game from the last 9 in the league? I mean, that's an incredible run.
It's a tough run. It's a tough league. And we're not the only club that's going to go through a difficult period of the season. Every club does. Top teams, of which we are, top clubs go through different spells and different periods in the season. Hopefully, I can add my own ideas, my own stamp, my own voice. Sometimes a different voice helps. But the players haven't been far away. Manchester City was an outstanding performance second half. Could have gone on to win the game. Against Fulham, we were down to 10 men for 70 minutes. We're in the game, in a really, really difficult place to go. We're not far away, and that's really, really important for the players to know.
You touched on it a moment ago, but in this job, actually more in any big football job, can you actually be your own man with influences, the medical team, people above? I mean, how difficult a balancing act is it?
I don't think it's possible to ever be in this job and not be your own man. People will see through you straight away. I will make the decisions at this football club. That's why I've been brought in. I understand. I'm not an alien. I know what's being said in the press, but there's no way you can be successful as a manager if you don't make the decisions for yourself. And the great thing for me is I have experience of working in this setup. The guys have been nothing but supportive for me at Strasbourg. We've had huge success at that club from where the project started, and I intend to work exactly the same way here.
And what are the aims and the ambitions sitting here now for the season? What would be a successful season?
I've said to the players, focus on winning the next game. Focus on winning the next game and winning the next game and winning the next game, and that's how you go on a run. And with the talent that we have, and actually not just the talent, the level of professionalism of the group, the intensity at which they've trained the last 2 days, their engagement to something new, is really, really positive signs here. And I never limit the ambitions of my group. We've got world-class players here. We've got players who have won World Cups. The lads won the Club World Cup a matter of months ago, and I watched that game, and they were absolutely magnificent against PSG. The potential for this club, for this group, is limitless, and I won't limit limitlessness. I want to be successful. I'm ambitious. People know that about me, but I always have to make sure we get from where we are to where we need to be, and that takes time. I'm not asking for too much time, but at the same time, you need to make sure you know where your process is headed.
Thanks, John.
Just to clear it up, your surname is pronounced.
My dad says Rousseñor, which is the way to pronounce it, but as long as it's nice, you say something nice about me, I don't mind.
Ian.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
When you were at Derby or Hull, thinking of managing Chelsea within, 2 years, was that always something you thought was possible?
I just said you don't limit your ambitions. I'm not arrogant. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. And in every job that I've worked, whether it was as an interim, as an assistant, as a head coach or a manager, or whatever you want to call it, relative to the group I've worked with, I've been successful. So for me, I've always wanted to be at a club like this. But it's not about just being here. It's about being successful. So this is the beginning for me. I'm going to give it everything. I'm not guaranteed. Nobody can guarantee wins. Nobody can guarantee success. But at the same time, I've worked very, very hard for a long time to try and put myself in a position where I can be successful.
You also said a minute ago, you know what's being written about you. You know that for as many people who
I'm guessing.
Yeah. For as many people who want you to succeed, there are many saying, he's got no chance in the Premier League, his first job at Chelsea. Yeah, just down the road at Brentford, Keith Andrews has proved this season actually that's rubbish.
Yeah, Keith's a great guy. Worked with him in media duties. When he was appointed as manager of Brentford, I wasn't surprised now at the success he's having. It's the same thing with young players, young managers. Unless you give people an opportunity, how can they show what they can do? You always have to start somewhere. And for me, I'm very proud to be a young English coach who's now at one of the biggest clubs in world football, you know. But there's no hard work, determination, sacrifice. I've sacrificed hours with my family. I've been away from my family for 18 months. I've sacrificed time in terms of my coaching, education, my career. You have to give people a chance and for them to show what they can do. And that translates to the way that I will do that here. I will give my young players a chance to show, to grow, because potential is amazing when it's realised, and hopefully I can realise my own potential.
Apart from the language, what's the difference between coaching in England and France?
The great thing I learned, not much. People are people. That's one of the best things I learned about going abroad. Yes, the language, the culture. France is a beautiful country. It's a fantastic league. I think it's a league that hasn't been given the credit it deserves tactically or in terms of the ability of the players. PSG won the Champions League last season. So I learned many things there, but I would say the biggest thing I learned is when you connect with people, they all have the same needs. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter your background, you all have the same needs. You need to feel like you're a part of something, and that's what I want to create here.
A couple of short ones to finish with. First of all, you used the word earlier, enjoy. You want to enjoy it. I get the impression, being a Premier League manager, the last word that comes with that is enjoyment.
Why?
Well, because it's high pressured and...
My friend, I am so fortunate. I'm working with some outstanding, talented players. I'm paid well. I'm lucky to be in a job. Pressure is a privilege. There are many people in the world who would love to be in my shoes, and I try to remember that every day with humility. So yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be difficult moments. It's not going to be all smooth sailing. But if you don't enjoy what you do, you don't do it at your best. And I want the fans to enjoy watching the team play. Football's to be enjoyed. And I definitely want my players to enjoy what they do as well.
And last one, I spoke to Nathan Jones yesterday, who was gushing in his praise for you. He said that he knew when he was at Brighton that you were going to be a coach, and like him, wanted to be a coach in the Premier League. It'd be weird, your first game being with someone you know so well. Yeah,
Nathan's top. He's had an outstanding career as a manager. It's going to be a very difficult game tomorrow. They play with real intensity. They're very, very difficult to play against. I've watched a lot of their recent games. It's going to be a typical English Cup tie, third round in January. And my players need to be able to stand up to that intensity. You know, that's the first thing in football. It's all about systems, tactics. You have to win the battle. You have to win duels. You have to win headers. You have to run. And that's the message I've given to the players over the last 2 days.
Good luck and enjoy it.
I will do.
Thanks, Ian. For Charlie?
Liam, firstly, congratulations on your role here at Chelsea. Secondly, you're here on merit, you're here on your talent. But, you know, your appointment means a lot to a lot of people in terms of the fact that you just mentioned it there. You are one of the few English managers, head coaches right now. You're also just the second black manager currently in the Premier League. Having been involved in your dad's workshops, knowing the work that he's done, I can only imagine what that means to your family. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I'm just very proud to be sat here as Chelsea head coach in front of you. I've worked very hard for a long time. And for me, I'm very fortunate. I'm mixed heritage. My mum's white, my dad's black, West African. I just want anyone, doesn't matter where you're from, your background, your gender, just to be appreciated for what they can bring. And if I can be successful, then maybe it breaks down a few things. It is at the furthest thought of my mind right now. I just want to be myself, and I want to be successful in every minute that I'm here. And yeah, it's a great thing. But if I think too much about that, I'm not focused on the enormous job that's in front of me.
And in terms of winning trophies between now and the end of the season, where do you think the best chance for Chelsea is? Of course, the FA Cup campaign starts tomorrow. You're in the League Cup semi-finals, still in the Champions League. So
Yeah.
is there one trophy in particular that you're targeting?
Try and win every game that you play. That's the reality. If you start pinpointing and saying one competition is more important than the other, that's crazy. You have to compete every day in training. You have to try and win every time you train. You have to try and win every game that you play. And if you think too far ahead, that's when you fall. So for me, the focus is Charlton, and trying to put a run together of results that put us in a really good place. But I'm not thinking too far ahead. We just have to focus on the here and now.
Thanks for Charlie. Soraya?
Good to see you. How would you describe your process match to match as a manager in the Premier League in the FA Cup, a lot of people have said, I like analytics, I like watching 50 games of another manager and opponent. Are you like that? Are you obsessed with that? Or do you like to focus on what you can control in-house? And how have you prepped for Charlton?
We have a very strong process here. I'm quite collaborative with my staff, so I'm open to different ideas. I only have one set of eyes, but I make sure with my set of eyes I'm watching as much as possible. I analyse a lot of games. I work very much on our own performance as well. That will continue here. I want us to be dominant. I want us to have a strong identity where people enjoy what they see from us. But at the same time, you have to be tactically adaptable. When I work with my staff, I have brought an outstanding staff in with me. We have very strong processes with the group as well in how we deliver the games to the players, which they've learnt today. We'll get used to that. There's a lot of detail that goes into that. And yeah, everybody's different. I want to focus on the strengths of my team, but also counteract the strengths of the opposition. And that's the way we'll continue to work.
Obviously, in the top 5 leagues, we do see goalkeepers get involved in that build-up.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
Yeah, you knew it was coming. But at Strasbourg, we've seen your goalkeeper be up with the centre-backs. Do you think that's something that you can implement with this Chelsea team and the goalkeepers you have?
Every team is different. You work to the ability of your players. You work to what their strengths are. I'm very fortunate both Jorgensen and Sanchez are world-class goalkeepers with their feet, which absolutely suits the way I want to play. But I'm not going to come in here on the first day and say to Rob to play from the halfway line or for Philippe to play from the halfway. It takes time. It's a process. I feel very confident I can bring the best out of my group in different areas and different aspects. And playing one way with one team is different to playing another way with another. I can be adaptable. It's about my players and their strengths.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Simon?
Hi Liam, you were at Craven Cottage obviously
Yeah.
last night and heard the fans.
Yeah.
Obviously it's quite toxic. I think it might continue. What's your message to them in terms of trying to win them over and trying to get them behind the team and
Yeah.
focus on that?
No, I think, at a club of this stature, the fans want success and they have every right to want success now. This club is ingrained in the history of winning trophies, especially in recent history, winning titles, of winning Champions Leagues, and the fans should have those demands and those standards. My job, to win over the fans, I need to win games of football. To win over the fans, I think they need to see a team that represents them. I know this area well. I was born in not far up the road, and it's about hard work. It's about determination, spirit. I remember playing at Stamford Bridge when Jose Mourinho's team were at their very best, and it was so difficult physically. John Terry, Carvalho, Paulo Ferreira, Essien, Makaleli, Drogba, Joe Cole, who's here. He's in the room at the back. He's waving over. There was a physicality about the team. There was a winning mentality about the team, and that's what the fans demand. We're trying to build something in a different way. I'm very, very confident that in time we'll show people why we've done it this way. And my job is to move that forward and try and get this club to that place where teams really, really fair coming to Stamford Bridge and the fans really, really look forward to every game that we play.
You obviously experienced similar at Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yeah, I'll be honest, when I went in at Strasbourg, I was a joke in the media. They said that my team would finish last. It was an impossible project, that the players were way too young, too inexperienced. I was a nobody from England. We finished, I think, 3 points outside the Champions League. The outside noise is just noise. If you focus on the job, you focus on your players and your staff and your process, I feel like you can do amazing things. I am not promising it. I'm working towards it, but I believe very strongly that we can be successful here.
Thanks, Simon. Rob, back left.
With Led to Understand, your ability working with young players that particularly impressed the bosses here. What is it about the way you work as a coach that makes you particularly suitable to working with guys at this stage?
Well, firstly, other than Ben Chilwell, who was magnificent in 28, all I had at Strasbourg were young players, and they were a joy to work with. I've worked with senior players. I remember we were having a great relationship with Phil Jagielka, who was 41 at the time at Derby, or with Curtis Davis, who was 38. Age is one thing, it's your ability to learn, it's wanting to be engaged in something. I'm not going to sit here and talk about my strengths as a coach. My job is to show it on the pitch, on a match day and in training, delivering the very highest quality of sessions and meetings to the players. I will let other people speak for me. It's not for me to speak about my own strengths.
What similarities do you see between what you had to work with Strasbourg and what you're going to work with?
some outstanding, talented players with huge potentials. But the job for me is to turn the potential into reality. There's a lot of similarities in the recruitment of both projects. There's an idea about the way that the team should play, and I fit into that. You know, so for me, I'm very excited to get to work with this group. I've had 2 wonderful days being welcomed in by everyone. I feel at home already. The players have been magnificent with me in their engagement and how they've made me and my staff feel at home. And now I want to get into the games with them.
Thanks, Rob. Ben?
Liam, is your expectation that the leadership group for the players stays the same, captains, vice captains, and specifically on Reece James? Speak a bit about his leadership qualities, and is he a midfielder or a fullback? He's
a very, very good player. He's a very good player, and good players can play in many different positions. Obviously I've analysed the recent games that we've played before I've come in, and I have to say Reece, in terms of his impact on the group, in terms of his performances when he's been on the pitch, I think he's growing every day. He's growing every day, and it's exciting to be working with Reece at this stage of his career now, because I think he has levels. The exciting thing for Reece, he has levels that he can go to even beyond what he's performing now. I think that's where a lot of these players are. It's always difficult when a manager, and Enzo's been very successful here in his own way in terms of winning 2 trophies. When a manager leaves, the group should be disappointed. It's a bad thing if a manager leaves a club and the players aren't disappointed, then there's something wrong. What I've learned in the last 2 days, not just about Reece or the leadership group, all of them, they want success. All of them are honest. They've worked magnificently for me the last 2 days, and I can't wait to get to know them better and to try and help them in their leadership to come here for a long time.
Thanks, Ben. And we'll finish with Davide.
In building your idea of football, which managers were inspirational for you?
It was. I grew up with my dad, and my dad was a coach, and he was obsessed by football. Therefore, I was obsessed by football. I remember being probably 6 years old, 7 years old, Arrigo Sacchi's Milan, Louis van Gaal's Ajax, Van der Sar, Davids, Clarence Seedorf, Barcelona. My dad always encouraged me to watch teams from abroad because that was the football he enjoyed, and that's influenced my thinking in terms of the way I want to see my team play. I had a great experience in France, playing against 2 of my idols, Luis Enrique's. I don't have a big ego. Luis Enrique is a magnificent coach. I managed to play against him. Roberto De Zerbi is someone who I have a lot of time and respect for. It will be the same in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola has been one of my heroes. I'm not afraid to say that as Chelsea manager. Now I get to go against him. Brilliant, you know. And for me, it's about having that respect for other coaches in the league, but never having too much respect where I don't think I can be successful, because I think with this group, with my idea, I think we can be successful against these teams and these coaches in our own right.
And when you look at the group you have, you mentioned a lot of good qualities. Can you find a bad quality in the group? What's the maybe you need to work on?
Are you talking about a negative?
Yeah, negative quality.
Of course you are, you're a journalist. That was a joke. It was a joke. I'm allowed to have a joke. No, I wouldn't say I don't speak about negatives. I think the biggest hurdle we have is realising the huge potential that we have in the group. Is realising it. Having what potential is one thing. I'm potentially a very good coach. My players are potential. Well, some of them already are world-class players. We need to not be a potentially world-class team. We need to be a world-class team, and that's where I'm trying to take the club.
Okay. Thanks, Davide, and thanks everyone. We'll end that section there. Cameras off, please.